Hi. You're the tech man. I said you're the technician.
Yes, yes, to the cameras.
Yes, that's great.
Yeah, we have a sheet. Hey, there you go.
It's a good way of raising money.
Take your picture. They shouldn't give you.
They do the same in Spain. For example, where I live, there are two very famous radars. You know, speed radars. So you are approaching the city from the highway, and you go highway speed, and the highway just blends into the city, and suddenly it says no more than 60 miles, and suddenly it says no more than 30 miles, but just 100 meters up there. And just after there is a radar.
Those are called speed traps.
You're going 65, and by the time you get there, unless you do violently brake, you are going 50 and it says 30, and then so, but that's they are that's they do it on purpose. Say, this one, put the radar there. So, do you have any experience with meditation? No? No? Good, perfect. That is the best place to start.
Yes.
From,
Maryland, I was doing the reading one day.
yeah.
Too long. Maybe 2 weeks.
Okay, so, look, the best place to start is from a blank piece of paper. So that's where we will start, which is the best. She's a teacher. Okay, so
But I'm going to tune into the podcast, and he's doing a special teaching for there's we have 12 teachers coming for that.
And is Jane coming? Jane Sullivan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, she's
Yes.
on new.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Jane.
So you have lots of good teachers in the area, which means that I don't come a month and then you are left alone.
Very important. We're very grateful.
You
Blessed to
are,
have him.
you have very, very good teachers here. So and very good support group and community. You have meditation every week,
Twice a week.
twice a week.
Is there anything going on often, or is it all over?
It's one thing, yeah, we, kind of, had to come here because the Airbnb was primarily in what all the teachers are spread out, so they're all, all over the house.
I just think of one, adult that I can't remember her name.
Anna? Yeah.
Very sweet.
Oh, yeah, Anna,
Yeah. It's like,
yes, yes, that was Anna.
Well, this-
I think we're ready.
Okay, Matei, so.
Coming.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? This is.
Take it
I
with
talked all the way up the street. I didn't know it was this far
Ah.
down. Hi.
My name is Benito.
I'm Joanna. Nice to
Hi,
meet you.
Joanna.
Hi. I parked all the way up. I didn't realize we have a minute to move the car down. It's okay.
Yeah, you're fine, though.
Yeah, it's okay. I didn't realize it was this far down. I'll do it. Sorry.
Come in and get yourself there. We're,
Are we going to put in your coats here? We're making tea. No, perfect. Hot water, just oil.
So you want a tea or? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So you want
With,
tea and coffee or? So what do you want? We have tea,
Yes, we have tea.
coffee also. You want coffee? So here we have On Sunday we met with all the teachers around. We meditate together here. And then Monday we organize fiber optics and everything. And then it's morning first class. So we have non-stop for the moment.
Joanne is one of my students. So it's going to be like, okay,
No.
Yes, exactly.
There is no better.
No.
That's one of the things that we teach, which is that there is no better work. I explain it the following way. What is longer or what is longer or shorter? I mean, if you going from here to the moon, give me a mountain nearby. Washington. Now you tell me, how far is the moon if you compare the distance from here or from that mountain in Washington? What is more further from the moon? This place or that place?
That's where you're standing.
Well, the reality is that it's the same distance, because if you put the rocket in the mountain or you put the rocket here, you are going to be there more or less at the same time. So, if you compare two human beings, you have to compare the following thing. For you to be a human being, what has had to happen? You tell me. What had to happen for you to be here now? Right. And for you to be born, what had to happen? Your parents had to be a little bit loving with each other, right? I mean, somehow you are a produce of love. You know, it can be more lust or more love, but it is love at the end of the day. You know, it's two beings wanting to be together. And for your parents to be there, what has to happen? The same thing. And for the parents of your parents to be there, what has to happen? The same thing. Okay. So now you imagine you have a string. And you pull the string and you have your parents. And you pull the string again and you have your parents. Try to analyze how, you know, when you were born, your parents not only gave you your genes, but also gave you a language, an understanding of things, principles, values, patterns of behavior. You know, they gave you all those things, not only genes. So you inherited some, say, psychological. And the same thing happened with your parents. Your parents, you know, in the same way you carry many patterns of the parents. Your parents carry many patterns of their parents, and so on and so forth. So start pulling that string. And you pull the string, and you always have parents. So where does that string end? Well, what do you mean it doesn't? That is a question, you know, all civilizations and cultures have asked to themselves. You know, if I start pulling on this thing, where do I arrive? Some people say Adam and Eve. There was this man there and
I just wanted to see if anybody was figuring out if this is a house or not. Do you want a cup of tea?
I thought I'm late. What?
No, but they're just having to wait because we had a total of 10
okay.
people.
So then I get the tea. Yeah.
And they're putting the coats, on the couch, kind of how we did the other night.
And doing auto play Adam and Eve. Where does that actually end?
Just the beginning.
Think about it.
No, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe like.
33 times, if you calculate 35 years per generation, that's year 2000. Year 1000. Your family in year 1000. If you put 64 times of that string, you will be with your family in year 0, year 1, Julius Caesar, Roman. And if you continue pulling, every 32 pulls, you get 1,000 years. You have 250,000 years of Homo sapiens sapiens, according to scientific knowledge, in this planet of ours. So you can start pulling and put with family, direct family. Direct family to the extent that we could build a body like yours with our genes, because we have not changed the species. The genes you have are there also. You understand that? Not everybody understands. So you start pulling, and then you arrive, say, 250,000 years ago. Your species, our species, Homo sapiens sapiens, but the first, your very family, direct family, you put the stick with the right to you. Think about everything that had to be done generation after generation, you know, because these people, your family, 250,000 years ago, maybe their parents didn't tell them that.
Meditation?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
I'm
very lucky. One by wheels.
There you go. Can we just, we'll just put this on to the, that way people can come in. Okay, how's that?
Okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay.
Who's ready?
Would you like a cup of tea? We're getting settled in.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. Come and meet the meditation teacher.
Should I take?
Yeah, it's okay. She's okay.
Yeah, exactly. You would go all the, if you know, if you accept the theory of evolution, you would go all the way, you would come to the point where your cousin was Neanderthal. You know, no species, similar but not the same. And you put all the people, you would go back to the cells, but those cells, where they come from? You know, nobody planted them there. They will come from bacteria, whatever the case might be, which will come from bees, which will come from molecules, which comes from the stars, which comes from the Big Bang. So all the way from the Big Bang to today, if you compare the distance that I have gone through or you have gone through pulling the string, what is the difference between you and me? No difference. So it's biological, exactly. You are all the same. So we are, everybody's here now? Ready to begin then?
I think it's ready.
I think we should start, Ramon.
Okay, so let's go.
Yeah. We've given people enough time. It's showtime.
Alright. You're keeping me in suspense.
Okay, so take out your shoes.
Esta hombre tiene frío.
Maybe you can put that. So that way if someone else comes, they could still open the door. Yeah, that's good. Perfect. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Come on in.
Are beverages okay in here?
Oh, yeah, yes, of course.
Yes. Now, there might be a couple more people, so,
Well, when they
you
come,
know, you're just gonna, okay.
just get them in.
Yeah, I don't wanna hold up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's late already.
Yeah.
20
so-
past.
Are we supposed to take our shoes off?
To meditate, it's preferable. If you want to put your feet on cushions, here you have cushions. Next time you come, if you bring yourself a cushion of some description, do you want a cushion?
Yes.
Here. Who else wants a cushion? You want a cushion? Cushion right here. You want another cushion here?
Okay.
And another one. Another one here. And another one here. That's one of the most, you know, in meditation, according to the classical books, and one of the most classical books with respect of what would be the Eastern yogic meditation, which is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I don't know if anyone here is acquainted with that literature, with that book, Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Well, when it describes asana, which is the position is defined as comfortable and stable sitting down. So you have to feel comfortable. So what means comfortable? Means that you take, you know, it is important because you want to be there, say 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even if you meditate longer meditations, more time, but you want to be sitting comfortably. You don't want to feel uncomfortable. Different people have different bodies, different ways to sit down, different ways to find their comfortability. You have to be comfortable, and you have to do like cats. Have you seen cats when they want to find a place where they are going to put themselves, that they, you know, study the situation?
Yeah, needing. I have two.
They study the situation, they look it this way, that way, let me try this, no, this is no good, this, no. So you can waste your time doing that because it's important that you find that comfortability. So you want to be stable, which means you want to be vertical, in a vertical position. But the how do you call this?
Shoulders.
No, the back.
The back.
The back does not have to support the weight of your body. So even if many people say that you don't have to lean your back, they are wrong. I mean, you have to, your back have to not support the weight of the body. It has to be, because one of the things that happen if you get into deep meditation is that the muscles disconnect from the body. You lose sensation of having a body, the muscles relax completely, and if you have to sustain your back, you don't allow that to happen. So you have to sit comfortably, relaxed, and here you have these chairs, but meditation is something that you do at your home. The best thing is that you have your chair, that you feel comfortable in that chair, and you find your way of sitting down. So the first thing is sit down comfortably. We are going to start with just a few minutes meditation. Have any one of you meditated before? No?
Yes.
Yes. Well, the ones that have meditated before, you meditate with whatever technique you use to meditate, and the ones that have never meditated before, you just do the following simple thing. Meditation, one of the typical meditation techniques is putting your attention in an object. One example I give that is understandable, because meditation is a natural thing that everybody has done eventually, is like when you are looking at a fireplace. Have any one of you sat down looking at a fireplace? Mm-hmm. Yes? So you look at the fireplace and you are just watching the fireplace, and the object draws all your attention in such a way that the thoughts that you have and the worries, and you are aware of them because they appear in the field of your consciousness, but you let them go because you are happy enough watching the fireplace. The object is beautiful, and which is a fireplace, and you don't concentrate in the fireplace, like I'm watching the fireplace. You're just kind of letting your attention, be there in the fireplace, and it's pleasurable to do it. Well, in the same way you put your attention in the fireplace, you can put your attention in your breathing. Your breathing is your fireplace. At the end of the day, by breathing, you burn the oxygen that generates the energy that feeds all the cells. So breathing is not only the fact that the lungs move, it is the fact that the whole body is breathing. It is the fireplace of the body. It is as beautiful an object as a fireplace, but even more, because it is even much more sophisticated. So what you do is you just put your attention in your breathing. You start with feeling the air coming in through the nostrils, and you will feel the air coming in, and it's a little bit more cool, and then it will come out a little bit more warm. You start in your nostrils, but then you let yourself go, and you just put your attention in the fireplace of your breathing. And your thoughts that will arise, you just let them go. If any thought takes your attention out of the fireplace, and you find yourself, for example, doing your shopping in Walgreens, and calculating what you need to have tomorrow for the children, or whatever the case might be, when you become aware that you have lost consciousness of your breathing, you just let Walgreens go, because Walgreens is not going to escape, it's going to be there tomorrow, and you will remember, and if you don't remember, your children will remind you about the cornflakes, so you don't need to worry about it. You just let it go and go back to the breathing. So we will do this for 2-3 minutes. And then I will do a little mantra that ends with an Om Shanti, which is just a sweet way to say that's it. Instead of saying that's it, open your eyes, I just chant a little mantra which is more agreeable to the ear, right? Okay, so let's start with a few minutes of meditation. Bhuva Soha Tat Savitur Varenayam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Open your eyes slowly. Namaste. Namaste, which is something that we do at the end of the meditation in a ritual way. It is something that comes from the Eastern cultures, you know, like in judo or in karate, you know, before you fight the other person, you salute him, and then you fight him, and once you finish, you salute him again. So it's something that comes, you know, as a cultural thing of Eastern traditions, but it has a meaning and it's a teaching. Namaste is a salute, is how they say hello in India. Namaste is the way they salute there. And the salute between human beings has always to do with encountering another human being, another form of life that has done the same long path that you have done. You remember the string? To arrive to you, you have, that's a very long path. So it's someone that has done that long path, you know. Every salute in every language, in every culture, has to do with putting the attention into the divine of the other person. We say goodbye, but it was God be with you. You know, but it became into goodbye. But is, you know, goodbye means God be with you. Salam alaikum, like they say in the Arab countries, may the peace be with you, or shalom, like the Jews say, which is, may peace be with you. Namaste means with what I think, which means with the thoughts I'm having, with what I say, with my words, which means in this particular case, namaste, with my words, and with what I feel, I salute, or I honor, or I put the emphasis in what is divine within you, which is the same as saying the heart that is pounding within you. Because any other human being that you know, meet in life has yearnings like you have yearnings, has frustrations, has feelings, wonders about their own being, have worries, you know, it's a heart like you. They are alive. And you put the emphasis there and you salute to that. And this is, we do it ritually after meditation, which means that when we say namaste, we mean it, and we say namaste with what I say, with what I think, with what I feel. I salute that you are a divine being like me, or what is the same, a pounding heart like me. But when you meet with any other human being in the street, in the bus, in the office, you also put the emphasis there. It's a spiritual practice by itself. Because if you don't do it consciously, what you do is the following. You know, you are walking and you see this guy and your mind thinks, look, that fucking asshole there. And then you put him some judgment of some quality, and you know, and that's it. And then you move your eyes to some other place and you see another asshole, and you start seeing one asshole after the other, and then by the end of the day you have only seen assholes all around. So Namaste is a spiritual practice in itself, because we all have an asshole in our exterior. It depends where you put the emphasis, because we all have a divine being in our interior. So when we say Namaste, we are trying to say, look, I put the emphasis in what is within you, not all the, you know, little things that are without you or in your exterior. Now I'm going to start making, because we started late, so I will make a small introduction about me. I started to meditate in the 80s, in 1980. I started to teach meditation in 1983. I started to meditate by chance, because you know what my life is based that since I was a very little boy, I wanted to discover the secret of life. My mother tells me some of the things I don't remember, but apparently I was this big, and I would put my sisters and my grandmother and everybody that I had around to listen to me. And I would explain them about the workings of the cells and this and that and the other. In fact, I was a very intelligent guy, you know, one of these, you know, guys that they are considered like more intelligent than the rest. When I grew older, I lost all of it, you know, but you know, when I was young. So I finished I started college with about 14, 15 years old. And by 17 years old, I published my first scientific paper. So really I was kind of and I was looking for the secret of life in science. In fact, I was in molecular genetics. I was working in the Cell Biology Institute, which is part of the Research Council in Spain, which is kind of like the Academy of Sciences here, is kind of a big body of research, public research. So I was, you know, looking for the truth in science. In fact, I started with medicine and genetics, and then I went to physics because I thought medicine could not give me the answers. And then I got in love with this woman. And that really made me realize that one thing was the objective truth, you know, objectivity, and another thing was the subjective truth, subjectivity. One thing is, you know, whatever the objective truth is, we don't know. You know, 1,000 years ago, your parents, your family, like in the string that I told you before, if you would ask them, they would say, oh, the earth is flat, you know. And, you know, and there is and they would explain you how the world is. And today, you know, if you ask, they will say, no, I mean, that's not the world is, and we explain what we explain today. Wait 1,000 years. Wait 1,000 years and let us see what they think about what we think about what objective reality is. So objective reality is, whatever it is, we don't know. We have a general, you know, agreement in that it is what it is, and we follow, you know, the scientific method has helped a lot to at least put a little bit of order in things. I am of a very scientific mind. But to understand the subjective reality, you need another kind of language. The language of science is mathematics. The language of the heart is poetry. You know, if I want to transmit you my feeling, my subjective feeling watching a sunset, or a Sandon, I cannot put the equation of the diffraction of light, because I wouldn't be able to transmit that subjectivity. But a poem would. So then I suddenly started to search. I left mathematics and I went into poetry. And in this search, I, don't ask me why, because I've never been a religious person at all. In fact, if you had asked me when I was in, doing scientific studies, if I would have declared myself at minimum agnostic, at minimum. But, after this experience of becoming deeply in love, I'm of a very romantic nature, I started to search for answers in the poetic part of life, and I found my spiritual master, which was Guru Rajananda, with whom I learned meditation. And who is in that picture? The fact, I always explain this, the fact that he is there in that picture is the same as you could have the picture of your spouse or your wife or your husband in your office. The relationship between your, say, spiritual mentor and you is always a loving relationship, and it's something that it's natural. It's traditional in the Eastern world to put the picture of your guru, of your spiritual master, but it's really the same thing that we do when we do the picture, when we put the picture of our wife in our working table. It inspires. You look at the picture of your wife, whom you love, whom inspires you, because there is that bondage, and you put it there because it's very helpful for you to do your work. So it is basically the same exact thing. And well, since then I've been teaching meditation. I teach meditation in prisons in Spain. I teach meditation in schools. I teach meditation to the general public. We have a big organization of teachers in Spain. Here in New York, you have a very well-established group of meditation teachers, and there is a lot of support community. So, the fact that I'm here 1 month doesn't mean that you are left by your own. And you are going to leave me your emails, because I will be putting you in this Google Classroom online class, where you will get not only the videos of the classes, so that you can always watch the video, but texts and videos of other people speaking about the same things, so that this course is beneficial for you. So what we are going to do today, I'm going to explain you what this course is going to be about, what you are going to learn. It's going to be 8 sessions, every Tuesday, every Thursday at 7 p.m. The same session in the morning and in the evening. So if you lose an evening session, you can always come the next morning, or whatever the case might be. So 8 sessions, 2 hours each session. So let me start explaining. So what we are going to do today is, let me see the time. I'm going to explain you what you are going to learn in this course, and then we are going to do a meditation technique, which will be longer or smaller depending how much time it takes me to explain you what you are going to learn in this course. Ponme la pizarrita. meditation and mindfulness has now become very popular. I'm sure that you have heard about meditation and mindfulness in TVs, in magazines, in this and that and the other. They even do machines, you know, Americans are great with marketing. They make machines that you put yourself in a machine and you go into meditation. But meditation and mindfulness really are practices that come from the spiritual tradition. What made them very popular in the United States particularly was a guy called Jon Kabat-Zinn. Jon Kabat-Zinn was he worked for MIT, and he worked in the oncology department of MIT, and he was a doctor there. But he had a Tibetan master, you know, like from the Dalai Lama, a Tibetan master of meditation in the 80s. And you know, meditation, he was taught meditation by this Tibetan Lama, and meditation, you know, it's something that works well, and it worked well for him. And they had all these oncology patients there that, you know, at those days in the 80s, if they told you that you had a cancer, you know, a breast cancer meant 80%, you know, that was it, you know. So you had like a death threat, a very powerful death threat, and that's very stressful. So people, you know, and all doctors know that people, when they are under stress, they don't respond as well to therapy of whatever therapy. So this Jon Kabat-Zinn thought, well, look, this that has been good for me, maybe it is good also for these patients. So he proposed this to the department, and the department said, okay, let's try. So they organized a room for him, and in that room he created this center which was called the Stress Reduction, Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction Center. So it was basically a room where Jon Kabat-Zinn taught these meditation techniques to cancer patients of the Massachusetts General Hospital. And what Jon Kabat-Zinn found out is that it went well, you know, patients looked to, you know, become more happy, and, you know, the chemotherapy was not so hardship, was not so hard on them, and so he said, okay, let us do a study, let us, you know, he was a scientific person, let's study this. So they made this group and this control group that they were taught some psychological, you know, support group, and they did a double-blind experiment. The results were significative. Oh, look, oh, it works. So they started to do studies, and what they found is that meditation works. And they found it to in-depth, you know, like even looking, because today we have very powerful measurement methods to measure the brain activity, like with neuroimaging and all these things. And, you know, they are publishing like 150 to 200 papers, good scientific papers a month, of the different effects of these meditation techniques have. And so it became popular because, you know, it was kind of the scientific elite was saying, okay, meditation is good. But you know that meditation is good, people have known for centuries. Everybody that have practiced it for centuries. Meditation techniques, they don't come only from the Eastern world. They have more authors in the Eastern world. But you know, any contemplative tradition of our Western world do the same techniques. If you watch the techniques that a Benedictine monk, for example, does with their chants, Gregorian chants in the morning, so the Benedictine does the Gregorian chant, and the Tibetan does this om yom yom om yom. I prefer the Gregorian one. And then walk in silence, and you name it. The techniques are exactly the same techniques. So science started to study these techniques. They saw that they were working, and many scientific people got interested and started to study this. It became popular with John Kabat-Zinn, although this started back in the 19th century with Vivekananda coming here to the Parliament of Religions, but we will leave that for another course. We will just get the last news, no? Anyhow, the case is that there was a very interesting study done by three academic people, which are Davidson, Luntz, and the third one I don't remember the name. Davidson is from Wisconsin University, Luntz is from Oxford University, and the other one is from some other big university, but I don't remember. What they did is study all the different techniques of meditation, of contemplation, and they did, when scientists look at things, they classify them, and they did three big classes of techniques. The concentration techniques. The Buddhists, for example, call this samatha. The open presence techniques. And three, what these scientists say, non-referential loving kindness techniques, which really is a very good classification. I like it because I have looked and studied all sorts of techniques, and really you can put all of them in one of these three classes. The concentration techniques are based on the same example I gave you before of the fireplace. You use an object, could be your breathing, could be a fireplace, could be a candle, could be the sound of your voice within your head repeating a mantra. It's an object, and you put the attention on that object, you keep the attention on that object, and you let everything go. And those are the concentration techniques. The aim of these concentration techniques is to quieten the mind. It quietens the mind. That's one of the techniques that we are going to practice today, so that you get an idea of these techniques. We are going to learn all these concentration techniques use an object of the senses, like touching. So for touching we will use the breath. For seeing, we are going to use an object which will be a candle, which is like a fireplace but smaller. And for hearing, we are going to learn meditation with a mantra. Now, the open presence techniques. Open presence is based on the following thing. It's based that you have the experience of your existence. You can do anything that you can do good for yourself or for the people that you love. You can only do it now, in the present moment. You cannot do it tomorrow until tomorrow arrives, and whatever you did yesterday, it's already done. So the quality of having all your attention in the present moment to what is happening now all around you, to what you are thinking, to what you are feeling, to everything that the observer within you is can perceive, to be able to be aware of that moment by moment with a non-judgmental mind. Because if you have a judgmental mind, you will never understand what is happening. I will, for example, a scientist. If a scientist wants to understand how the ecology of the African savanna works, the scientist cannot think that the lions are bad because they eat these gazelles that, you know, they are vegetarian, and they not only eat the gazelles, but they eat the baby gazelles that cannot run enough, fast enough. So these lions are bad people, you know, and the gazelles are, you know, the good ones. You would never be able to understand how the savanna ecology works. You agree with me, no? Or if you are a scientist, you say, all the electrons, you know, negative, without mass, they are bad. Protons, on the other hand, you know, positive, and, you know, with mass, they are good. To understand what you are living, you cannot judge it. It's a play of opposites. There will always be the opposites, but it's not a matter of judging. It's a matter of discrimination, of discerning. I always put this example. You know, can be walking in a road, and there is a wounded boar. You know boars? You have boars here?
Deer. How about deer? Deer is more.
No, a wounded boar are very dangerous.
Oh, okay.
A wounded boar is really dangerous. So you see a wounded boar, you discern, you discriminate that he is dangerous, but you don't say he is bad. He is wounded, so he is dangerous, but he is not a bad boar. He is simply afraid, or whatever the case might be. So to understand reality, you have to have your attention here with a non-judgmental mind, and your attention full here. John Lennon used to say that life is that happens before you are occupied thinking about something else. And this is basically what most of the time happens to us, that life is happening in front of us, but we are busy thinking about something else. And the techniques to keep your attention here and now, moment by moment, with a non-judgmental mind, is another of the things that we are going to learn in this 8-session course. So the open presence techniques. Now, non-referential loving kindness techniques. This is I don't like this name that they use. They are scientific and they are kind of allergic to the word God. But this is what have always been the devotional practices. These are the practices that, you know, non-referential means that they excite your heart, but non-referential, not to someone in particular, but to everything in general. So it's all the compassion techniques, but this is basically, you know, like the soul of the churches, or the hymns that you sing in a church, or the kirtans that they sing, you know, in the Hindu temples, or, you know, it's basically excite your heart to a loving kindness feeling. And these are the practices. This is that most Christians follow. It's a general Christian practice, you know, when you sing Amazing Grace, or when you sing this other hymn that Guruji liked a lot, that is anyhow, I will put it for you in one of the classes, because it's a beautiful hymn that is sung in all churches around, no? So, and we are going to learn also this kind of techniques. So we are going to learn these 3 kind of techniques. Now, what we are going to learn also during this course is to deal with life in a much more simple way, because we are going to learn to live life one day after another. We have the idea, but it is an illusion, that our life is kind of a continuous thing. You know, that it's a continuous, but it's not continuous. You know, it's like the illusion when you see a film, that it's a continuous thing. But in reality, they are frames, 24 frames, and then you have the idea it looks like it's continuous, but no, it's one frame after the other. Now, the frame of our life is one day, because our experience of life is based on the following experience that we all have. We wake up in the mornings and we wake up to our memories, because when we wake up in the morning, you know, you are sleeping. When you go to sleep, we could say that you are not there, you have disappeared. In fact, if you appear a lot during the night, you don't sleep well. You really sleep well when you disappear completely until the next morning. But at least you know when you go to sleep that you are not in charge. You know, you go to sleep because you say, okay, now I am not in charge. So whatever you believe you are that is in charge of your life, when you go to sleep, kind of rests. You agree with me? Okay. And then you wake up in the morning, and when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing that you become aware of? You are still sleeping, and you know, you may have listened to the alarm, or you may have started to wake up because you saw the light of this dawn. Or what is the first thing that you become aware of? Think about it.
Your breath and breathing?
Hmm?
That we breathe?
No, no.
You
The first thing you become aware, watch yourself tomorrow, it's about all your problems. You start waking up and you start thinking, oh, oof, oh my God, oof, on this, oof. So, you wake up to your memories, with all the conflicts of your memories, you wake up to your memories, which you call your reality. So, you wake up to your memories and you project your memories in the screen of your mind. You are still in bed and you start, you know, your mind starts projecting there. And you know, you have there what you say to yourself about yourself, what you say to yourself about life, the memory you have about your circumstances, that's also projected in the screen of your mind. The interpretation you have of your circumstances, you also project that in the screen of your mind. And there are people in your circumstances. So, you know, in the screen of your mind, you will have, you know, your mother, your son or daughter, your friends, your boss, you know, people. And you wake up to that reality, and without saying it, you consider that to be your reality. Yes? Mm-hmm. Right. Well, think about this. Nobody knows that reality. And what is worse, nobody cares about that reality. I mean, you might be married with your husband and your husband knows nothing about that reality you awake to. Neither you about the reality he wakes to. So you call that real, but how real it is? How real is the past? My memories and your memories? What do I know of your memories? And what do you know of mine? I wake up saying, this is what I am. You wake up saying, this is what I am. But that's just an illusion. What you are is what you are here. What you are now. At this very moment, and the only experience I have of you is this experience. Those thoughts, nobody knows them. Nobody cares. They care for them the same thing you care for what is the reality of others. You care nothing. I mean, so you call this your reality, and in fact your reality is this. You call this your circumstances, but your circumstances is the day you have to live. Those are the real circumstances. So from this point of view, there is one thing that is the reality, which you think is real in your mind, and another thing which is your actuality, which is the day you have to live. In this course, we are going to learn to deal with actuality. We are not going to get into what is real or what is not real. We are going to get into what is actual and how to deal with actuality, which is the only reality, in fact. Now, so you have an idea of how this works. When you wake up in the morning, you project this into the screen of your mind, and immediately 99.999% of the people will say, this is wrong, this part of my life is wrong. You know, I need another husband, or I need my daughter to be different, or I need another job, or I need more money, or you name it. Something is wrong. And so you project into the future, you project this past into the future, thinking that once you sort this in this foreseeable future, you will be okay. Because you will be okay, then you are now not okay. Basically, 99.99% of the people do this when they wake up. Now, think about this. Go in your memories to year 2001, September 2001. You must remember those days because it was the... So remember those days, okay? Remember where you were living. Go back to your memory where you were living, the bed you slept. How was your room? You will be able to remember it because it's a day. What kind of memories you woke up to? What projections you did in your mind? What it is that you call your reality then? When you do this projection and you have all these people here, you start conversations. So, if you are thinking about family problems, you might be on the shower directing yourself to your mother or your son or your daughter. And if you are thinking about, you know, work, you might be in the shower speaking with your colleague, or you can recognize that in yourself, right? So you start speaking with everybody. Think about the people that you projected then and what kind of conversations you had with them. And what kind of projections you were doing through these conversations. And tell me, what was then and what today is today, you know, were you right in your projections? In your projections of your future, were you right or were you completely wrong? Completely wrong? Yeah, completely wrong. I mean, everybody's completely wrong. Don't be ashamed. I mean, you are completely wrong. You were completely wrong then, and you are today completely wrong. This is what neurobiologists call the default mode networking. Is the default mode of the brain, which is like a reality show, because you are speaking with people which are imagined people that have nothing to do. This is another way to look at it. You know, you think you have an existence in the mind of others. You believe, you believe you are someone in the mind of others. Well, you have no existence in the mind of others. I mean, they don't care a dime for you. You imagine your mother or your father having a conversation with you in his mind or her mind in the shower. Okay? Just try in the same way that you have conversations with your daughter or son or your father or mother. They have conversations with you in the shower, their own conversations. And tell me, in your opinion, honest opinion, the person that your father or mother is speaking to in their minds and the person you are in reality, are they similar or very different? Very different. And that is your father and your mother that raised you, that you have inherited their own psychological patterns, and not even them speak with you as you are really in their minds. Imagine me that I found you in the street, as they say in Spain. Nothing to do, nothing to do. So, you know, we call reality to what is not reality, when the only reality we have is the actuality of the only day we have to live. The only day we have to live is the only place you can do something for your life or for the life of the people you love. Right or wrong? So, living a good life is just a matter of learning to live a good day. Because if you learn to live a good day, life is made of one day after another. And you have to deal with this. You have to deal with that you wake up to this, that you think it's real, but it's not. And you have your actuality that you have to deal with. And what is your actuality and what you have to deal with your actuality? Only three things. The I that you are identified with is the one that does things, acts. So from the moment you wake up, you are doing things. You have the sensation of, I am going to jump out of the bed, or I am going to stay in bed because I am tired, or whatever the case might be. The I gets involved. So the I appears, and then you jump out of bed or not, or you go to the shower or not, or you name it. The I starts doing things, and he will do things for 16 hours. The I start thinking things. So from the moment that you wake up, the I, as you perceive it, is the entity that is thinking. And the I is feeling things. You can feel happy, frustrated, bored, or whatever, but the I is feeling itself. So dealing with a day is basically dealing with your actions, your thoughts, and your feelings. These are the three yogas according to the yogic tradition. Karma yoga, karma means action. Jnana yoga, jnana means discrimination or discernment, which is for what thought is valid, and Bhakti yoga means devotion, because you know the feeling that that really makes your day go easy, which is, what is the feeling that if you have that feeling when you wake up, your day flows easily and greatly? What is that feeling? You must tell me, you must know. Now, let me ask it in another way. Have you never been in love before? Yes, no? When you were teenagers at least? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Remember those days. When you are in love and you wake up in the morning and the birds sing, everybody's beautiful, everything is okay. You remember those days? Everybody has that experience, right? So, when the dominant feeling is love, it's easy to live one day. So the devotional practice are practices that are, you know, you want to excite that love so that that love happens, no? Thinking, the techniques that we are going to deal with, your thoughts every day, have to do to start discerning your thoughts, discerning bullshit from, I mean, most of what we think is bullshit. You just listen to yourself. I mean, it's like a reality show constantly there. I mean, complaining and judging and this and saying this and get me out of here and things like that. I mean, it's really, you know, there's no wisdom in most of the thoughts, no? Learning to think creatively, learning to use thought for contemplative, for contemplation, learning to meditate is part what we are going to learn to deal with thoughts. And actions, we are going to learn to perform action for action itself. Because we think that the reward is in the result of the action. But the reward is in the action itself. If you do the action you are performing, not for the result of the action, but just to do the action as if it was an offering to God. You give yourself completely to what you are doing. Naturally you will get the best result, but you are rewarded by acting like that. Acting like that rewards itself. And the only thing you can do for your persona, and the I, we are all worried about our persona, is your actions, because the persona is resolved. I mean, your persona is what is not the reality you think about you, is what your persona acts. A fireman, you know, resolves himself putting down fires, and a surgeon, you know, operating people, and so on and so forth. It's not in your thoughts, it's in your actions. The only place where your persona that so much worries you is in the actions you perform. And it's only 16 hours. You only have to act for 16 hours. So it's just a matter of learning to give yourself in every action. So we are going to learn all these things also in this course. And now we have just the time to do a meditation practice. Any questions? Any questions? What I said was understood? Yes?
Is this written out someplace that, maybe online?
Yes, we are, if you leave me now your emails, you will receive an invitation for Google Classroom. I don't know if you know Google Classroom. It's a service of Google. And there you will have not only the videos of all these sessions, but written material about all these things.
Should we do that today? Or tomorrow?
If you do this today, you will receive the invitation tomorrow. If you do this on Thursday, you will receive it on Friday. You know, I had one of the things I've done in life is being a businessman. I had a big company. I did an IPO, so we did put it in the stock exchange. We had 500 employees. And one of the things that I put in my company is I had this thing put in all the desks of all the employees, which said, do it now. Because, you know, people, especially in Spain, you know, mañana. Not now. Forget about mañana. Okay. Now this technique is a pranayama mantra. Eh? Okay, this is a technique that, who has practiced this technique? You have practiced it, you have practiced it, you have practiced it, you know, right, okay. Okay, this is a typical technique that all traditions practice. If you've seen this, we said about the Gregorian chants, it's called chant. Or, you know, or these Tibetan lamas when they go, well, it's a similar technique. It's a pranayama, which means it's a breathing technique. Does anybody have practiced yoga here of some description? No. Pranayama is breathing technique. So this is a breathing technique. And we start with this breathing technique, which means that we take air, we breathe quickly in, we do a breathing quickly, and then breathe out, saying this. So, breathe in, Aim, Krim, Krim, Chamundaye, Che, Che. You breathe in, Aim, Krim, Krim, Chamundaye, Che, Che. Now, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a vocalization exercise, right? So you are saying nothing. The important thing is that you vocalize well. Aim, it finishes with an M, so you close. Aim. Hrim, like Dr. House. Hrim. Krim, like cream. Cream. Chamundaye. Cha, like cha-cha-cha. Moon. Daye, Chamundaye, Vicheche. So you get there. Aim, Krim, Krim, Chamundaye, Vicheche. Aim, Krim, Krim, Chamundaye, Vicheche. In the last cheche, you are putting the air out. Okay. So, while you repeat this, that you will be following me, what you will do is observe yourself repeating this. So you will be sitting down with your eyes closed, and you will be watching yourself repeating this. What will you be watching? You will be watching the movement of your mouth, you will be watching the movement of all these muscles with which you articulate language. You might be watching your breathing, that, you know, goes like this, and then Aim, Rim, Krim, Chamdai, Bicheche. So you might be watching your body sensations, and you will also watch your thoughts. But there will be a problem with your thoughts, which is that most of the thoughts are verbal. And you know, verbal thoughts are very much connected with the movements of these muscles. That's why, you know, many times you are thinking and you kind of speak while you think, you know. That's why people, you know, they say they speak alone, you know, because you are thinking and the muscles get connected, you know. So what happens is that as you are moving these muscles, saying nothing, while you are having verbal thoughts, it creates a distance, it creates a disruption in the way the brain works, which facilitates letting the thoughts go. For example, one typical thought that you will have doing this technique is, I'm fed up of repeating this. So take it as if someone else was fed up of repeating that. It's just a thought that you have perceived, as you have perceived how your mouth is moving. You have to have a sportive, you know, sportive spirit. You know, you are moving these muscles and breathing, like if you go and do running, you are moving these muscles while you breathe. So it just, and it's tiring as it is tiring to run, but it's tiring for the mind. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a tension in the mind, and then we are going to, you know, relax it. And then we are going to create another tension in the mind, and we are going to relax it. And another tension in the mind, and we are going to relax it. And this is going to relax your mind. So we are going to do this. We are going to do 3 rounds of this, okay? Each round is, you know, each of these things is 1 repetition. So Aim, krim, krim, chamandaya, bicheche. So you can be sure that you will think about, I am fed up of repeating. But you know, when you think that, just let the thought go, because what you will be doing is creating the energy to let the thoughts go. Because at the end of the day, what we want to do is just observe ourselves letting the thoughts go. If you don't let the thoughts go, you might be doing this and do something like this. Because if you don't let the thoughts go, they get blended with the movement of these muscles. And then you might be saying, main, cream, cream, the fucking bichechi. It happens. So this will help you let the thoughts go. We are going to do this 3 times. I start slowly, so you know I will show you how I do it. You just follow me. Aim, krim, krim, chamandaya, bicheche. Aim, krim, krim, chamandaya, bicheche. Aim, krim, krim, chamandaya, bicheche. And then I go quickly. Aim, krim, krim, chamandaya, bicheche. Aim, krim, krim, chamandaya, bicheche. Aim, krim, krim, chamandaya, bicheche. And then I go slowly again. And the one before the last one, I do the aim very strong. So I will say, Aim, krim, krim, chamandaya, bicheche. And then the last one, you take a big breath, filling well the lungs, and then you do it very slowly. Aim, krim, krim, chamandaya, bicheche. And you empty all your lungs by pushing the abdomen in. Right? Understood? And then between round and round I stop, about 1.5 minutes of 2. When I stop, you just leave breath completely alone. So don't try to breathe in any way or form. Just let the lungs breathe whenever they want to breathe. If you just let the lungs be, you will find that your breath goes very, very slowly. It even seems to be detained. So just stay there, because you will be there so quiet and so comfortable, and then I will start with the second round. I will say, fuck. Cream again. So, and then I will do 3 rounds. When I finish the 3rd round, I will be using this gong, and I will, at given times, at measured times. Once I finish, you just put your attention in your breathing. Your breathing is your fireplace. So you just are here, observing, alive, breathing, feeling yourself, letting everything go. When you listen to the gong, you just, let yourself fall in the sound of the gong. Just observe the gong. It's another object in your experience. You just observe it and let yourself go, because the gong will, start fade little by little, and then I will bang it again. I will fade little by little. Just let yourself go, aware of your breath. The only thing you need to do is, if you suddenly are doing the shopping in Walgreens and have lost contact with your breathing, you just leave Walgreens or whatever for the moment, and you come back to the breathing. Right? Understood? You don't need to shout it. You just say it for yourself. I will say it louder so that you can follow me. Any questions? Ready to begin? Good. So let's go. Casi saca la pizarra. Chamandaya bicheche. Aim krim krim 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 chamandaya bicheche. Aim Dream Dream Chamandaya Vicheche. 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 Aim Rim Grim Chamundai 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 Vicheche. Aim Rim Chamundai Vicheche. Aim Rim Grim 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 Chamundai Vicheche. Aim Krim Krim Chamudaya 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 Vicheche. Aim Krim Chamudaya Vicheche. Aim Krim Chamudaya Vicheche. Aim Krim Chamudaya Vicheche. Aim Krim 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 Krim Chamudaya Vicheche. Aim Hrim Krim Chamudaya Vicheche.
Very slowly, and giving yourself at least a minute. Just bring yourself out of the meditation. Namaste. Good? Good? You had some problems?
What?
Did you have some problems?
This is very advanced for me.
Very advanced. No, you're joking. This is regular meditation. Don't you feel more relaxed? No?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the purpose. Nice? You nice? You?
Yes.
You had some problems? No?
Well, my mind was wandering a little bit.
Well, but mind wanders, you know, I mean, but the chant tires the mind. So after the chant, the mind, you know, it's easier to let her go and wander in. And for the ones that have done this for the first time is like the first time you do a scale in the piano. The second time will be easier. The third time will be a piece of cake. Don't need, it's not so advanced. Don't worry about that one. In reality, all these practices are simple. And as my guru said, it is so simple to be happy, but so difficult to be simple. And that's true. I mean, it is simple. I mean, life is simple. Life is just one day. And you have the experience of how to live like that because you were all children. Don't you remember when you were a child? 7, 8 years, 6, and you woke up in the morning and you said, oh, I have a whole day, you know, to live. Well, that's the attitude. Once you start waking up again like a child, not childish, but like a child, not being childish, but, you know, being like a child, then you will start appreciating beauty. You see the beauty of the things you love. You know you are in love with someone, you see no defect. Now you stop loving him and better don't sneeze out of time. So, you know, you see the beauty of the things you love. It's not that things are not beautiful. Everything is beautiful in life. Nature is beautiful. And every human being is a produce of nature. I mean, if you pull the string, where are you coming from? Nature. So everything is beautiful. It's only realizing it or not realizing it. And once you start appreciating the beauty of things when you wake up, you know, the beauty of the daylight, all the good things you have, like hot water in the shower, and you have a bed, you know, probably you are. Do you know how many million people don't have hot water? And how many millions don't even have water in the house? So when you start appreciating all the beauty that surrounds you, the light, the smells, and it's just one day to live, you know, like when you were a child, you know, it's just one day to give the best of you for that day, because what else can you do? Once you're here, just using common sense, without getting into any sort of mysticism. What else can you do that is better, that give yourself completely to the day you have to live? For the good of yourself and the good of the people you love. Can you think anything better to do? I ask. No? So do that tomorrow, I mean. Quite simple. So when you wake up tomorrow in the morning, instead of starting thinking about, oh, I have this problem and this problem and this problem, say to yourself, good morning day, I have one day to live. And I'm going to do my best with whatever the day brings to me, because one thing is what you think that are your circumstances, and another thing is what your circumstances are in actuality. And what your circumstances are in actuality is whatever happens to you that day. So you might be thinking, oh, my circumstances, and then you know your neighbor comes by, and instead of telling him, good morning, how are you, and you know, having your attention, you know you are losing the day. So say good morning to the day, good morning day, and you know, tell yourself, look, whatever I think about my reality is, this is the day I have to live. And whatever my opinion might be of what my life is, this is the only life I have to live, the life I have to live today. And that is fact, not philosophy. It's pure fact. So then if it's only one day, it's only 16 hours, and there are so many beautiful things that surround you all the time, it's just a matter of putting your attention in them. You know, the beauty of the sunlight, the beauty, I mean, the beauty is all around, all the time. And you start appreciating beauty, and then you start loving your day. And once you start loving your day, then you start flowing. You know, now it's very much, you know, a fad, you know, flow. Learning to flow. Exactly, flow. Flow by loving your day, flow by giving yourself completely to the day you have to live. That's the only thing you can do, and it's not very difficult, because it's only 16 hours. And then you go to bed, you sleep, and tomorrow it will be another day. And this day is just about to die. Okay, namaste, thank you very much. And see you on Thursday.